Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're turning you into a biochemical detective. Imagine you just walked into the lab and you're handed a rack of totally clear, unlabeled test tubes. Inside, mystery samples. Your mission is to uncover their hidden identities. And to do that, you've got to know how to interrogate the molecules inside. So today, we're going to master 4 foundational biochemical assays. These are the essential chemical interrogations that literally force proteins to reveal themselves. Let's get right to work. We're following a really strict logical protocol today. We'll start with our protein detective toolkit, then use the Biuret test for finding peptide bonds, move to Ninhydrin for locating amino acids, hit the Xanthoproteic test for identifying aromatic rings, and finally, look at Millon's test for targeting tyrosine before analyzing the final evidence. It's basically a Russian doll approach, going from really broad general detection down to highly specific amino acid profiling. Section 1, the Protein Detective Toolkit. Let's set the stage for this overarching laboratory challenge. Section 2, Biuret, finding peptide bonds. Okay, let's dive right in and pull out the broadest tool we have. When you're staring at a mystery liquid, your very first, most fundamental question is simply, well, is there even a protein in the sample at all? Establishing that baseline is absolutely crucial. I mean, there is no point in wasting time and expensive reagents hunting for specific amino acids if the building blocks aren't even in the tube, right? To answer that question, we use the Biuret principle. This hunts for the mere presence of peptide bonds. Think of peptide bonds as the chemical glue holding proteins together. If there are proteins, there's glue. The test works because these peptide bonds will chemically interact with copper ions. But crucially, this absolutely must happen in an alkaline medium. That high pH is what helps the copper coordinate perfectly with the nitrogen inside those peptide bonds. The procedure here is elegantly simple. Step 1, you take your sample solution. Step 2, add the Biuret reagent to supply those crucial copper ions. And step 3, just give it a gentle mix. Honestly, that tiny bit of physical agitation is all it takes to trigger the interaction, assuming those peptide bonds are lurking in your sample. It's a really rapid, direct confrontation right at the molecular level. And here's the visual payoff. If that solution turns a brilliant violet color, boom, protein present. You nailed it. If there's no color change, the tube is clear. And beyond just passing a lab practical, this has serious real-world applications. In a clinical diagnostic setting, this exact violet color shift can actually be the very first indicator that protein is leaking into a bodily fluid where it absolutely shouldn't be. Section 3, Ninhydrin, locating amino acids. Now that we've found the whole protein, let's look a little closer. So we're zooming in from that macro protein level down to the individual building blocks, the amino acids. Our new target is the free amino group. The Ninhydrin principle tells us that free amino groups reacting with the Ninhydrin reagent will produce a really famous pigment called Ruhrmann's purple. Fun fact about this, forensic scientists literally use this exact reaction at crime scenes to lift latent fingerprints. Ninhydrin reacts beautifully with the trace amino acids left behind in human sweat. Pretty cool, right? To actually run this test, our procedure shifts just a little bit from the last one. We add the Ninhydrin reagent to our sample, but this time just mixing it isn't going to cut it. We have to force the reaction. We do that by heating it up in a water bath, applying that vital thermal energy needed to bind the Ninhydrin directly to those free amino groups. Now, the crucial thing to watch for here is a divergence in the results. Normally, if amino acids are present, the solution blooms into that stunning Ruhrmann's purple. But, and this is a huge trap to watch out for in your exams, the amino acid proline uniquely turns yellow. Why? Well, proline is technically an amino acid. It's got a secondary amine structure, so it reacts differently than primary amino acids. If you see yellow, you haven't failed, you've just positively identified proline. Section 4, Xanthoproteic, identifying aromatic rings. Let's zoom in even further. We're taking off another layer of that Russian doll to get highly specific. We're not just looking for any random amino acid anymore. We are hunting for one specific molecular structure, the aromatic ring. Just as a refresher, an aromatic ring is a highly stable ring of atoms. Think of something like benzene. The Xanthoproteic principle states that aromatic amino acids reacting with nitric acid will put on quite a dramatic chemical show. Because we're targeting something so specific, this protocol takes a bit of precise choreography. First, we add nitric acid to the sample. Second, we heat it up. Third, and this is key, we have to let it cool down completely. It's a really strict timeline of temperature control. Finally, step 4, Only after it's totally cooled do we add an alkali to the solution to finish the interrogation. The reward for following those steps so carefully is a brilliant double color shift. During that initial heated reaction, the solution turns a distinct yellow. But when you add the alkali in the final step, it creates a salt of the nitro compound, making that yellow morph into a really vibrant orange. That exact shift, yellow turning to orange, is your definitive, undeniable proof that aromatic amino acids are present. Section 5. Millon's Test. Targeting tyrosine. We've made it to the tightest layer of our diagnostic doll. This is the absolute most hyper-specific tool in our kit. We've zoomed all the way down to pinpoint one exact chemical target at the micro level. We're looking for the unique phenolic group that belongs exclusively to tyrosine. Millon's principle dictates that this specific phenolic group will react with Millon's reagent. And why do we care about tyrosine? Well, it's a remarkably important molecule. It's the critical precursor your body uses to synthesize vital neurotransmitters like dopamine and adrenaline. Thankfully, even though the target is incredibly complex, exposing it is a breeze. Step 1, just add Millon's reagent directly to your sample. Step 2, heat it gently. That's it. No complicated cooling phases or secondary additions. It's just a straightforward, elegant mechanism to prompt that reaction with tyrosine's phenolic group. If tyrosine is hiding anywhere in that beaker, that gentle heat is going to force it out. The solution will dramatically flash a vivid red, and that closes the case. That deep red color confirms without a shadow of a doubt that tyrosine is present. We've successfully completed our journey from the macro structure of a general protein all the way down to a single highly specific amino acid. Section 6. Analyzing the final evidence. Time to put our ultimate diagnostic toolkit together. Let's run through our final case report and cement everything we just uncovered. We drilled down from the broadest target to the narrowest. We started with the Biuret test, hunting for general peptide bonds, which gave us a violet result. Then the Ninhydrin test went after free amino acids, giving us Ruhmann's purple or yellow if it was proline. For structure, the Xanthoproteic test found aromatic rings with a yellow to orange shift. And finally, Millon's test isolated tyrosine, flashing that brilliant red. Grasping these specific reactions isn't just about acing an undergrad lab practical. These are universally powerful tools used every single day in disease detection, clinical diagnostics, and forensic analysis. You're no longer just staring at clear tubes of unknown liquids. You actually have the key to make them speak. So, I'll leave you with this. How will you use these chemical clues to solve your next laboratory mystery? Stay curious, trust your tools, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.